Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. This is a longer hiatus than we expected, but in case you didn't know, we were off the air with a injury to Nancy's leg, and she had some operation. She's back. She's doing fine, and we really have a full crew. Stu's running a little late this morning, but Stu Stewart will be in momentarily, and we're back live for an exciting show. We were just talking earlier about what's been happening in the past couple of weeks, and it always seems the auto industry, in terms of at least economic news, is always at the forefront. If it's not inflation relating to automobile problems, it's the microchip shortage, the supply chain shortage, the UAW strike. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. So our hearts on this show bleed for you. A lot of you are consumers thinking about buying newer used cars, and that's what this show is. It's a way to try to help you. It's a way to offer a communication exchange once a week for 2 hours. We're in North Palm Beach, Florida, but we reach all over the United States. Our mystery shopping report, which I can talk about later, was done in Pittsburgh suburb, McKeesport, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh.
McKees Rocks.
Okay, whatever you say. So I have a Pittsburghan sitting next to me who corrected me on the city, but the point being, we are actually international. We have callers from all over the world. But we're at the epicenter of bad behavior for car dealers in South Florida. Nobody disputes that. We've got the roughest car dealers, and I started to say in Dodge. It's like Dodge City. It's really rough in South Florida. As you go further north in Florida, it gets a little bit nicer, but we found pockets around the United States. Pennsylvania, by the way, has been one of them, where the automobile deal behavior is much better. It's geographic, it's social related, it's economy related, and the small town car dealerships we usually find treat you a little nicer than some of the big city car dealers, like in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, or for that matter, New York or Chicago, or anytime you have a high density population. The crazies come out, and I'm talking about the dealers, not the buyers. I'd love to have you call the show. That's really what's important. We find out about, we learn a lot on the show. We have a telephone number, obviously, and I chuckle because it's kind of an old-fashioned things today. I remember the old days, may I have your phone number kind of a thing. That doesn't exist anymore. Phone numbers are almost secondary. They are secondary when it comes to communication, but we love them anyway. And our old-fashioned phone is 877-960-9960. Write that down if you don't have a thought now, or a question, or a comment, because you probably will. The longer you listen, the more likely you will. And that number again is 877-960-9960. For you texters out there, I'm one of those, you can text us. Nice thing about the text is that you don't have to, we can't get to all the calls, and the text, we usually get to all the texts. So it might not be at the first part of the show or when you text, but we will get to the text. And that text number is 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. We have some regular texters out there. Anne Marie comes to mind. She's texted us every week, and really one of the most thoughtful, informed persons that call the show. She just absolutely opens up areas that we haven't even thought about and others haven't thought about that are so interesting about automobiles. So text us at 772-497-6530. Now, we're streaming the show, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how many streaming viewers we have, but you can stream us on Facebook. That's just facebook.com Earl on Cars. Facebook.com/Earl, EarLoncars, Earl on Cars. And then the important one, and I say that because YouTube is huge. YouTube used to be, the tail wagging the dog, and now it's the dog when it comes to communications and digital and social media. YouTube.com/Earl on Cars. And interestingly enough, the YouTube followers on Earl on Cars have gravitated a lot to Rick Kearney, who is sitting to my right here in the studio. Rick Kearney is our technical guy. He's our certified diagnostic master technician. He knows everything there is to know about today's very, very complicated cars. And that used to be an exaggeration, I guess, when the show first started 20 years ago. But let me tell you, it's no exaggeration now. Cars are very complicated, too complicated in my opinion. And maybe that's because I'm an old guy, but I know a lot of young people that are challenged with the complexity of their cars. In fact, part of the challenge is that the technology and software compatibility of the different manufacturers, when they meld together in one unit called a Honda or a Subaru or a Chevrolet, they come together, they have conflicts. Toyota, we have a Toyota dealership, and this is not an infomercial for Toyota or my dealership by any means, but because we've been in the Toyota business for 45 years, as a retail car dealer, we see what's really happening on both sides. And there's a huge amount of complexity that even Rick Kearney is puzzled. Not for long, but he can be puzzled. We'll get a new model Toyota will come out, and whoever designed maybe it's the sound system, didn't get the Bluetooth right. I hear Bluetooth complaints more than about anything with respect to a car. Now, for that reason, we get a huge number of calls, and back to my beginning statement, the YouTube followers that do the posting have become not just a source of a lot of questions for Rick and the rest of the show, but also a source of a lot of information. And just by reading some of the posts, Rick Kearney from YouTube will be able to inform you about things we're not even aware of. So youtube.com/Earl on Cars. And don't be afraid to contact Rick directly by posting on youtube.com/Earl on Cars. You will be able to get a answer to your question. I got a tap on the shoulder, and that's got to be the telephone signal. We prioritize telephone calls, and Nancy Stewart monitors those, and we have a caller.
We do. Good morning, everyone. Let me give a quick mention to the ladies and just how important they are to the auto industry. They drive the economy, and they are definitely important to the automotive industry. There are more women who purchase a vehicle than ever before. Ladies, $50 for the first two new lady callers this morning. Yes, you can win yourself $50 for the first two new lady callers. You can give us a call, say hello, or if you've had a recent transaction, you can share that with us, anything at all. And you can also get in touch with us at www.youranonymousfeedback.com. Our number is 877-960-9960. Ladies, I'm interested in what questions you were asking about leasing, about purchasing a vehicle. So give us a call. Don't forget our text number, 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Ellen. And we have had an ongoing situation with Al Hendrickson, and that is where she purchased her Camry, and we've been in close touch with her. And the end of the story turns out, well, wait, and you'll hear from Ellen this morning, and she'll share it with you. Earl also wrote a column in reference to Ellen and that purchase. Good morning, Ellen, and welcome.
Good morning. You're making me feel like a celebrity. Thank you so much. I just wanted to share with your audience and also to thank you both for helping me, giving me the contact for Larry Morgan, who, owns Al Hendrickson and, other dealerships. And it turned out that I got money back. And I really appreciate it. And I don't feel I could have done it without, your help, and giving me the right people to get in touch with.
Yeah.
So that's what
I think it's really amazing that as many people got back in touch with you, first of all and foremost, Larry Morgan. And I would say you are celebrity status because not every woman has a story like this one.
Oh, well, that's nice to hear, and maybe it'll give encouragement to other people out there to, don't accept, if you're not happy with what you paid or what they're offering, and get in touch with, like my mother always said, go to the top. And I did, with your help.
Thank you. Earl?
Well, I just say, again, to set the scenario, the blog that we wrote, and I think this is the second blog I've written on the subject, is if you have a problem with a car dealer, and this goes with any business, the higher up the line you can go to have your complaint heard, the better off. How many times are you shuttled to a customer relations manager or someone you're not even sure what they do, and they listen to your problem. They say, okay, I'll get right back to you. I'm going through that right now with DirecTV. We have a DirecTV at our home, and we tried to get, we have a problem with one. It's going on for 2 months, and all I can talk to is somebody that they've sublet this customer satisfaction issue to, and I can't get satisfaction. So car dealers are relatively small compared to DirecTV and Comcast and the power company and the rest of it. So trying to go up the ladder. And when Ellen had her issue, she went into Al Hendrickson Toyota, and they charged her thousands of dollars more than they should have. To make it simple, deception, unfair and deceptive sales and trade practices, and everything else. And they took huge advantage of her. She called the show and was thinking that Al Hendrickson Toyota was owned by Al Hendrickson. Well, it used to be. She didn't know that it had been sold recently to the Morgan Auto Group. I was able to give her the telephone number for Larry Morgan, the CEO, the head of the Morgan Auto Group. I happen to know him personally, and I know a lot of car dealers. And so I said, try to reach Larry Morgan. She successfully reached Larry Morgan and was able to receive a refund of several $1,000s. Does that about sum it up, Ellen?
Yes, that's right. And I really appreciate it again, and that's why I called today, because I wanted to, thank you, thank Nancy for being so supportive and informative for me.
Well, you're very welcome, and your experience, as bad as it was, and you probably will never fully recover because it was just mentally it had to be a huge challenge just to deal with it, anger and everything else. But because of your terrible experience, what happened to have a happy ending, it drove home a point, which is when you go into a car dealership. Before you sign anything and before you get involved in any serious commitments, learn who the boss is. Learn who the top person that you can contact is. It could be, it should be at least at a general manager level. If you can get to the owner of the dealership, as in this case here, we were lucky enough where she could talk to the owner. Then that's the best. But go up the ladder. Don't be satisfied with a cell phone number of a salesman or even a sales manager. Take it up as high as you can. Because if you have a problem, they are 95% more likely to deal with you than the salesperson, whose, by the way, commission could be at stake. If a salesperson has to refund $1,000, that's going to cost him $250 for every $1,000 he refunds, because that's typical commission is 25% of the profit. So that's another reason the lower level employee is not going to give you a fair shake. So we got this message across in spades. Thanks to you, Ellen. We'll be forever indebted, and please feel free to call the show anytime. We'd love to hear from you.
And Ellen, Ellen, more importantly, there are so many women who are listening, and they need that reassurance that if they do take their negotiating skills and their knowledge, to the dealership, even after they've been taken advantage of, they come out the winner because they definitely are driven, and that's really important for all of the women who are listening, and you are a driving force, and I so appreciate our conversations, our texts, and how things turned out.
Yeah, because I bought cars in the past, but I learned a lot from this one. I didn't know. Yeah, because I think things were more open years ago or something, or there weren't these hidden costs. I don't remember so many hidden fees.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely. It is a learning experience, and there's nothing like word of mouth. Ellen, because we have so many calls backed up, I'd love to talk to you longer, and you're a very interesting person. You have yourself a great weekend, and give us a call
thank
again.
you so much.
You're welcome. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. www.youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to Lance in Tennessee, and for everyone else that's waiting, I'll be right with you. Good morning, Lance.
Well, Earl,
Welcome.
I got a song for you, Lance. I'll wait till you're done, though.
I've got one for you.
Oh, no.
I'd just like to say, Earl, you were talking about Bluetooth. There is a cure for that, and it's called a dentist.
It's called what?
A dentist.
Dentist. It's called a toothbrush.
I would be remiss if I did not say we missed you.
I know, it's been a long time.
Yeah. Well,
And Nancy, we're glad you're feeling better, and to celebrate your return,
thank you.
Nancy's got a song.
Thank you.
I've got a little quick tune for you. Well, Earl Stewart, what can I say? You've been a little bit MIA. Welcome back. Good to see you back on the radio.
Well, I'll tell you.
I was waiting for the last line. You didn't resolve the chord progression.
Well, you might not have the greatest voice, Lance, but you got the greatest soul, and that soul comes through in your voice.
That's right.
I think you have a career there. I think you should get an agent, and you would have a niche
Right.
that nobody else
You know
has
what it
filled
is?
yet.
Most people, when they sing bad, it doesn't sound good. When Lance sings bad,
Yeah.
for some reason, it sounds good.
Yeah.
I think Lance got
Well,
disconnected. Oh, there he is.
Well, welcome back. We're glad. We really missed you for the last 2 weeks. And
Oh,
Bless your heart. Thank you, Lance.
welcome back home.
that's good to hear. Good to hear your voice, too. I'll save my
See you
song for
later.
next week.
Johnny Fradley calls Lance is singing the Tennessee Bluegrass Tooth.
Bluegrass tooth.
I like that.
Bluetooth grass. I don't know.
How apropos.
Thanks for calling, Lance.
It was nice talking to you. Give us a call again. We're going to go to Chet, who is calling us from Wellington. Good morning, Chet.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm a first-time caller and a long-time patron at your store, at your dealership. So I've known about you guys for quite a while.
Oh.
I've got an issue here that I'm not sure that we can fix. It happened with a foreign friend who took my 2006 Toyota Camry and put diesel fuel in it.
Uh-oh.
And I'm trying to figure out whether there's a way out of this.
Yeah, there is. My daughter did that once. Rick will explain the remedy.
All right.
Diesel fuel in the gas happens quite often, a lot more than you might expect, and it's not a killer. It's not going to destroy the car. It's simply because diesel fuel just isn't nearly as refined as gasoline, so the car won't run on it. But all that has to happen, we need to you'll need to get to a shop for this. Any good independent, any dealership can handle this. They're going to drain the tank completely, put fresh fuel in there, then pump some of that fuel through to flush the lines with that clean fuel, and then basically just put the lines back together and sit and crank the engine until it flushes all the diesel out with the fresh fuel and gets the car running. That's the basic, simple answer. A lot of shops are going to try to charge a lot of extra. They're going to say, oh, you need to do spark plugs, you need to do injectors, you need the injector flush, you need this,
Right.
you need that, the other thing.
Yeah.
You tell them no. I simply want
Approximately,
you.
what would be the cost of a fair job?
I'm going to say on the average, you'd be looking at about $500 to $600. It should
Okay.
be no more than that. Tell them you simply want them to flush the system out completely with fresh fuel, refill the tank with fresh fuel, and basically you're just going to need to drive it for a while. It's going to smoke a bit. It's going to run a little bit rough for a day or so as it works all that out. And once it gets all that diesel out of there, you're going to be just fine.
And Chad, what you should do, because now you've got an idea of what it should cost, is be sure to get a quote up front as to what they're thinking about. And you might want to check with 2 or 3 places, reputable places, before you let somebody loose on it without a price. Because when you don't get a price up front, that's when you get yourself in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's good. I actually have had a quote of about $1,000 more than what you just said. So they're out there. Can your dealership do this repair?
Oh, yes. We see
Okay.
them all the time.
Well, okay. Well, that's good to hear. I would rather have a dealership that's got a great reputation, take care of it for me, than someone else for it.
Do you know how much diesel she got in it?
It was probably less than a gallon.
Okay. Does the car is it still running right now? Does it run normal?
It ran. The person ran it from where they first realized what it was to a parking spot at a mall and left it there. So it rode for maybe a quarter of a mile, and then it got all rough and ready and stalled.
Yeah, that's when it started picking up, because the diesel will sink to the bottom of the tank, and the gasoline is being more refined is lighter, and it'll get on top. Yeah, so they should be okay with just flushing it out, and then flush clean fuel through it, and you'll be all right.
All right, that's wonderful. I really appreciate that advice. That's what I was hoping to hear. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Chet. Give us a call again. We're going to go to Steve, and he's calling us from Palm Beach Gardens. Good morning, Steve.
Yes, good morning. Got
morning.
a quick question for you. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
2 things. We were at Earl Stewart's Toyota over there on US 1, and I noticed I'm trying to buy it can be a few years old or a new 6-cylinder Camry. And
Don't have
everyone I look at it, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. They're not making the 6-cylinder Camrys anymore.
Oh, they're not.
Right.
So that was my question. They were like $10,000 more than a 4-cylinder, and I couldn't figure that out. Well, that answers it.
That answers the question. Going forward, they're all going to be 4-cylinder hybrids, and starting next year, there won't even be a gas version.
However, if you are looking for the 6-cylinder, you got your heart set on it. Yesterday, I finished inspecting a V6 TRD Camry that is on our used car lot right now.
Is that the black one?
Yep. You've already looked at it, huh?
Steve,
Well, I looked at it online.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Steve, just out of curiosity, I'm putting on my car dealer hat now. Who did you speak to at my dealership that didn't inform you that they're not building the 6-cylinder Camry anymore?
Well, this is all online. Although we were there, I was kind of just hoping to see a new Camry in the showroom, and of course, that showroom of yours is very busy.
Yes.
And there's not much room in there for anything but sales. It's a nice dealership, but every time I'm there, it's kind of cluttery to me. I'm kind of used to smaller towns, but
Yeah.
but the 6-cylinder thing, I didn't know that they were
Yeah.
discontinuing them. I test drove one there years ago and loved it.
Ah.
And I said, well, I'll get one. And now the time is right to get one. So if I don't jump on one soon, I won't be able to get one, it sounds like. And that's
Yeah, I'm not
okay.
sure what it was the last year it was. What year is that the TRD you're talking about?
22.
22.
I think it was 22 or 23.
Yeah. So, yeah.
22, I think. Yeah.
So there are $10,000 premium for the 6-cylinder. Have I got that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it. We listen to your show all the time, and it sounds like a good dealership to buy a car from. But boy, it's almost like you need a map to find your way around there. It's kind of a busy place, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll provide those. We'll put some brochures.
We built that dealership because Toyota put a gun to our head and said you had to keep building a builder bigger and bigger. I fought it for a long time, but all the manufacturers make the dealers they build dealerships that are bigger than we need. But we have a contract with them, and basically we have to do what they tell us to do with regard to the building. So you're right. It is too big.
We all agree.
I got one other question for you. Do you negotiate there, or are those prices fixed?
We have a just set one price. We price it. Well, actually, we're priced them pretty much below the market now because no one's below MSRP yet. But yeah, it's one price, no negotiation, and no junk fees. It's just the price and sales tax, and tag fee, and your tag fee to the county.
So I can't negotiate with them. You say?
You can try, and we'll just smile at you.
This makes it real easy, Steve. Whenever a potential customer comes in, they know exactly what they're getting.
Sure. Okay. Well, thanks a lot. I know you probably got a lot of people holding. We were holding for quite a while. So thanks for answering our questions.
Thank you, Steve.
Have a great.
Give us a call again. Our number is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Or go to Your Anonymous Feedback. That's a great way to get in touch with us, youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to Deck in Boca Raton. Good morning, Beck.
Good morning, everybody. Nancy, I just want to mention to you, you got a great radio voice.
Oh,
Pardon me?
you have a great radio voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I thought that from the very first show, by the way.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyway, the last time I called about AutoNation, but I'm not going to talk about AutoNation today because whatever happened with it is good for me, but that's the way it is. But I do have one question for Rick, please, to start. Rick, I noticed on my 2007 Lexus RX 350 that it's making a rumbling sound when I make turns on the front. And I've come up to the conclusion that it's the control arms and the bushings look worn on the control arms. So I was going to ask you if I was going to change those, which I would do myself. If I bought aftermarket products on that, would that be okay?
I mean, if you're doing it yourself, aftermarket, you're totally fine. But I mean, that is quite a job. That's quite an undertaking for control arms because it's doing it yourself on the ground. That's going to be pretty good job.
Yeah, there's a lot of bolts. I see. I looked at it. There's a lot of bolts, and I understand that end of it.
Now, you're planning on replacing the entire control arm, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because trying to press the bushings in and out of that, oh, no bueno. It can be done. It definitely can be done. I would highly recommend go somewhere and have an alignment done afterwards because obviously, minor changes in them, your alignment's going to be a little bit out when you get done. But, it's quite a job, but yeah.
Okay. My second thing I just want to bring up here, I think I might get Earl's hair standing on his head. But when I was rather young in Europe years ago, we had this little thing called a dynamo on the back of a bicycle, and it used to light to put the lights on the front and the back. It used to spin when the back of the wheel was spinning, and it created energy. But my idea is, why can't we put that on a Tesla and generate energy for the battery on a Tesla?
Well, you probably could. The question would be the amount. And there are a lot of ways you can generate electricity, but some of them are just, you won't get the job done. The vehicle requires a lot of power, horsepower, torque, and you can kind of supplement the energy, and there are ways that they do that now with even induction and solar panels in cars. But there's nothing to beat a battery, right? I mean, a good battery with a 350-mile range. Right now, that's the status that you have to have a successful EV.
Okay. Well, just an idea. I think it was
It
called
is,
dynamo.
yeah, and that will happen. I mean, eventually there will be something. We'll be taking hydrogen out of the air. We'll be doing something because technology is just exploding now. So I can see a battery electric vehicle without a battery. I don't know how it's going to happen, but if you'd asked me 20 years ago about electric vehicles, I'd say there's no such thing. It won't happen again. But technology is surprising everybody every day.
Well, if we come up with some item and we take it public, I want to have that guy Stu as the CFO. He looks like a real money guy.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Many thanks. Many thanks for everything. And, I'm going to enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you so much.
I have a quick correction before we jump somebody.
I was going to ask the question. Yeah.
The TRD is the Toyota Racing Development,
Yeah.
which is kind of a rare bird, but yeah, they still make that in the V6 for now. I went and checked.
okay.
Yeah. All the other, they used to have them in the VX6 LE and the V6. That's all been discontinued.
Okay.
Thanks so much for calling. We'll talk to you again. Have a great weekend. We are going to, well, first let me mention again that, ladies, if you give us a call this morning, you can win. If you are a first-time caller, the two of you, two ladies, can win themselves $50 this morning just by calling and saying hello or share your experience with us. We would most appreciate it. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And if you haven't picked up that October edition to Consumer Report, you should, because they have tested the safest cars. And not only that, they have a list of the safety features that are most important whenever you do purchase your car. 877-960-9960. And like I said, you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Meg, and she is calling us from Wellington. Good morning, Meg.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
I listened to your show. Thank you. So I have a question. I purchased a used Acura RLX, and seen records, everything were good, but they cannot figure out how to turn my TPMS lights off. I changed all of them. They said it was the sensors, and I had all four replaced, and they can't figure out how to turn the light off. Any thoughts?
Black electrical tape.
Did you have the sensors programmed at the dealership?
No, I bought it from
Used car.
a private person.
Right.
And I brought it to Tires Discount, and they said, yes, that is, there were three of them that were bad. I said, just replace all four of them. And they can't figure out how to turn it off. They tried everything, and they said, I'm sorry, we can't figure it out.
Accurate.
Yeah, you probably will have to go to let's see. Try this first. Don't go to Acura first. Go to a Honda dealership first, because Acura is simply the upgrade to Honda. They may be able to program the sensors there. I know with Toyota, our sensors, we have to have a special scan tool dedicated to Toyota that we have to go in and retrieve a code from the sensor and then tell the computer this is the code that you're going to look for. And it's kind of like pairing a Bluetooth to your car, but you have to have the codes off the 4 sensors and program it to the car. And we have special tools that can pick those codes up with it. Let's see.
We have new information coming from the internet.
That I'm sure they would have already tried this one.
Okay.
Which is turning the key on and press and hold the reset button on it. But if the sensors have not been programmed,
They ain't gonna do anything.
that won't work.
Nice try, Dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I would start with a Honda dealer.
Well, when you say you're sure they
And-
try, you say they've tried it. Do you know? It says here. I just Googled it. The first thing that popped up was, turn the key to on. Now press and hold the reset button until it blinks 3 times. Fully start the car and let it run for about 20 minutes. Do you know that someone has already tried that?
Well, they had the car for a couple hours.
Yeah.
They're doing
So
something.
I would hope they did. They said we're going to reprogram. They gave me a quote, how much it would cost to replace all 4 of them and reprogram them. I said, okay, do it. Yeah, they had the car for a couple hours. Got the car back. It didn't go off. They said give it a few days. Gave it over 10 days.
Is that something that they would
now
really do?
Yeah.
Give it a few
and then
days?
when I brought it in, they said again, and I said it's not working. They said bring the car by, we'll look at it. The gentleman was nice, and he said we've done everything we can, and we can't turn them off.
My guess is they didn't use Google, so Google it and give them the answer, then bring it back in and say, now try this, because there's 3 or 4 sources of Google, and they're all identical. They say exactly the same thing. So
That might have been in the ASC training manual, though.
yeah,
You know, I mean, they're so either or. I don't know. I don't want to cross this guy over here, but I say bring it to the Honda dealer.
Well,
This
yeah.
first guy already had their shot.
Yeah, we take it to the Honda dealer and let the Honda dealer look at the Google. What I'm saying today in my introduction, for those who didn't hear my introduction, cars are so complex today.
Google how to program it.
A lot of people, including the technicians, don't know what's going on.
But Google how to program the TPMS.
I do, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick knows what's going on.
Rick knows what's
If
going
you
on.
Google it, it'll say to program it, they're going to say you're going to need an OEM scan tool of some sort.
Hey, Meg, I think it's a great idea for you to take the information that we just shared with you today and go back to that dealership. It might be, well, somewhat intimidating. Nothing like a woman to get things done, right?
Correct. You're right, Nancy. All right. Well, thank you for the information, and I enjoy your show every day to work.
Thank you most. Have a great weekend.
All right.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And I was talking about the Consumer Report earlier. There's a lot of information in the Consumer Report. They have an article that they did on junk fees. We also were taking a look at the 5 safety essentials that are on in that October edition. And the automatic, number 1 is automatic crash notification. 2, improved handling. Isn't this great? Automatic emergency brake, that's the AEB. And then there's the more protection for, guess what? The rear seat passengers. Boy, do they need it. So pick up that October edition, and you'll find everything that you need this weekend. And they do have the safest cars also. Okay, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And Jonathan has alerted me that if you want to watch us live, go to Earl on YouTube, Earl on Cars, and you can see us right there. For now, Facebook is down. So we're going to go to Marty. He's a regular caller. We love talking to Marty. Good morning.
Good morning. I missed you for the last couple weeks.
I just felt really bad when I saw your text asking if we were live, but how would we answer that?
Yeah. Well, if I get answered on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, I got 2 items. First of all, I got a big insurance increase, so I said I'm going to try USAA and see what their price was. They were only $2,800 more than I was paying now. So Anybody,
Wow.
I don't have any idea how people think that it's a cheap car insurance unless you have something, but they were terrible.
Marty, what deductible are you asking for quotes on?
200.
How much?
200.
200. Yeah, well, that's pretty low.
That's too low.
Yeah.
But I
It
mean,
could be.
it's the same one I've got, and the one I'm paying 2,600 on a year, and they want it 5,400.
Yeah, more and more people are what they call going bare with auto insurance, and you have to own the car with no financing available
Right.
to even be able to do that. But we've reached a point where the insurance is so high that it's almost unaffordable for a lot of people. So I can't. I'm shocked at USAA. I think if you keep on trying, I assure you. How many quotes have you gotten so far on your insurance?
I got a couple other ones that were all higher than I'm paying, so I'm just sticking with
Would you say
mine.
you've had a total of more than 5 quotes?
No.
Well, get 10 or 15. I mean, I know that sounds nutty, but you'd be surprised the variation. There are companies out there that will shop your insurance for you, and I don't even think they charge a fee. I think they'll get their remuneration from the insurance company. But if you can, maybe we can get you the name of one of those companies and shop around, because you know you're in a seller's market. The insurance companies are gouging. They're taking advantage of the mentality. See, right now there's nothing makes a seller happier than when the commonality of the buyers is, prices are really high. That way, when you walk into the store, car dealerships or insurance companies, you're expecting a high price. So you just have to try a little harder. I'd love to see you try at least 5 more and see what
All right.
happens. We'd love to hear from you.
I got one other quick question for Rick. I'm going to try to stump him on this problem. Rick,
Okay, Marty.
I turn my left turning light on, and my windshield wipers go on.
What's the vehicle?
2020 Toyota Camry.
Are you sure it's the right lever, Marty?
Stump Rick. He stumped Rick.
You have most likely lost a ground wire going up to the combination
You're
switch.
just making that up.
No.
Well, you know what? I came in and I talked to somebody at your dealership. They told me just make right turns.
Well, that works too. But yeah, the wiring harness that comes up the steering column there, it's going to have one ground wire that's going to split off to go to those 2 separate switches, because you got turn signals on the left side, wipers on the right.
Right.
And if the ground wire has broken somewhere past that split point, it's going to backfeed through there, and it could very easily turn the wipers on.
That's right.
I'd be
doesn't
looking at the
happen.
ground wire.
Rick's a
It
damn
doesn't
genius.
happen all
It's
the
amazing.
time.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen all the time, so I can't recreate it. If I came in there now and turned the left, turned the signal on, it probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But my question is that a big job to find?
It can take a little time, because what's most likely happening is that that wire is partially broken, and it's making good contact sometimes, and then other times it's like stretching a little and not getting a good contact.
Well, how much is it going to cost to reattach a ground wire?
Take them 12 hours to get to it.
Well, actually,
No, I'm just
if
kidding.
we just wanted to try a quick test of it, I would just tap a new ground wire on somewhere, run it to a piece of bare metal,
Yeah.
and say, see what happens.
Okay, and if it
And
worked,
charge 1 hour labor.
If it worked, how long would it take to?
Cost them $150.
One hour labor, $150.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, the problem is right now it doesn't happen all the time. So you could say it's fixed, and it's not fixed.
But Rick's little test will determine if his hypothesis is correct.
Okay.
Right. You just
All right.
you tap a new ground wire on there and say, go and see now,
What
try
happens?
it. And if it doesn't
All right.
happen anymore, problem solved.
Yeah. Hey, Rick,
right.
wouldn't it be something if he could take a picture and catch all that? You know, I mean, you would have to have reflexes like a cat.
No, he could wear a GoPro
But-
on his head like Earl used to. And just record every minute of his life.
All right. Well, what I'm going to
Hey,
do
Marty.
is,
Marty,
yeah.
what can you mention the insurance companies that you went to or you got a bid from?
Well, the only one is my current one is Allstate, and they raised me. But when I went to USAA, I said to the guy, "Listen, I don't want to." That was only a $5,400 is only a 6-month quote, so that's over $10,800 for a year. So I said to the guy, "Well, are you sure you have a computer that works?" You know.
Yeah, definitely. I was just amazed at Consumer Reports, as you heard the past couple of weeks, or maybe a month ago, that how their report turned out. Their survey results, and USAA came out on top, and I would imagine there's more to it than what they're reporting. Like Earl pointed out to you, and also NJM. Insurance group, and there's insurance groups on this list that I've never even heard of. So
yeah, well, I'll try. Like Earl said, I'll try a few more and see what they come up with.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Thanks so much, Marty. We love talking to you.
All right, stay on the air, please.
Thank you. We will indeed.
Don't get injured. Don't have any more surgeries, Nancy.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget, you can text us at 877-960-9960. And your anonymous feedback, don't forget that. And ladies, I'm still waiting to hear from somebody. First 2 new lady callers, $50 this morning. Just give us a call. Okay, we have Gary calling from Jupiter. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. Good morning. I have a quick question for Earl.
Okay.
Does your dealership honor Southeast Toyota coupons?
Southeast Toyota what?
What kind of coupons?
Oh, coupons.
It's a conventional oil change.
Yeah, we honor coupons, yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is an interesting question. Before you get into the subject, we have no power to restrict their coupons that they have for our service department. And the objection I have to Southeast Toyota and Toyota manufacturer is the fine print, and we don't like coupons with fine print. And that's the way they are. But it's always been a source of argument between me and Southeast Toyota when they start sending national ads out or regional ads.
To give you with the coupon, if you follow me, there's an extra junk fee at the end
There's
of the
a junk
transaction.
fee at the service department, and all the other dealers charge it, and we don't. And so, as Stu said, they deliberately put a low price in on the coupon. Obviously, that's the reason you want to have a coupon, to get a low price. And then you expect a low price, and you come in, but the fine print says there's a shop fee, miscellaneous supplies fee.
It's lower than it otherwise would be at that dealership.
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't charge that, so we get kicked in the butt by it.
Exactly.
Well, I purchased a Toyota from your dealership, and I've had my service work done there ever since.
I appreciate it.
And ever since I purchased Toyota, I've been getting emails from Southeast Toyota with these coupons.
Yeah, they push the service because they sell us the parts. So if you get an oil change, the Toyota dealers come through Southeast Toyota.
They're getting paid for the filter.
Yeah, they love us to sell batteries because they sell us batteries. They sell us tires, and Southeast Toyota is a regional distributorship that is contracted with Toyota. They also charge us more for the cars than the other Toyota dealers. If you're in New York, you pay Toyota less for a Toyota than if you live in the Southeast United States. That's a secret that nobody wants you to know. But Southeast Toyota does charge its dealers in the 5 Southeastern states more than the Toyota dealers in the rest of the United States pay.
So if I bring this coupon in from my service, then I can get the coupon price.
Yes. With no shop fees added. No junk fees.
No shop fees.
Absolutely, Gary. And Gary, stay tuned for our mystery shopping report this morning. That'll come to the audience at about 9:30. Just an example of this fine print. It's just it gets worse and worse, and it's just it's a nuisance. And we went out to, I believe it was McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, right, Stu, at Jeep Dodge.
Yeah, near in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, Jeep Dodge Ram. So stay tuned for that this morning.
Okay, I sure will.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your information.
Thank you, Gary. It was great hearing from you.
Bye.
Ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give us a call, 877-960-9960. We're going to go to John in Palm City. Good morning, John, and welcome.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning. We mentioned today Consumers Report. Each issue gets more fabulous than the other one. The December issue just came, and this is how they update on everything. They had a test. Well, they tested a lot of products. And on page 42, they updated the common type of battery, which is a Series 24 and 24F. They updated it, and from July 2023 this year, they recommended for that number, for the Series 24, the Napa at that time, I think the Napa was I don't know what model exactly, it was a Legend. Now the new report, it says Interstate MTP-24 Megatron. Now, if I remember correctly, I think Interstate is sold by Costco, and they recommend that. They gave that. That's updated from the July issue, a score of 86, and I think
is that
99.
the top? Wait, is the Interstate the top one?
I don't know if it's the top one, but they say it's an MTP-24, and they listed in there as $125.
Hey, good info.
So it's called a Megatron. So I just want to say how they're on top of everything, and we all know that fabulous issues of consumers. And then the second thing I want to mention, 3 weeks ago, Nancy herself mentioned the battery tender. So I have a neighbor that just came back 6 months exactly that they were gone from their place in New Hampshire. They had their car on a battery tender. They came in and they started it up on the first shot.
Nice.
The battery tender was left on there for the 6 months. But again, I recommended to them that they still got somebody, I'll do it even, to just move the car because they had flat spots on their tires. But after a few miles, they wore it out, and it made it even. But again, Nancy mentioned this battery tender, which is very reasonable price, and here it is, 6 months, and bingo.
Perfect.
First shot, the car started up.
Oh, thanks so much, John.
I love when a plan comes together.
Yeah, exactly. Evidently, everyone heard about it, and what a great story. You know, nothing like coming back from your vacation and being able to start your car up. Thanks for that, John.
On the very first spot, first start, bomb, right over. So
yeah, boom.
That's a fabulous story.
There it is, boom.
Yes, I wanted to mention that, and that's thanks to Nancy Stewart bringing up that point.
There you go. Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back.
Have a great weekend. Thank you for that. We enjoy your company. Ladies, $50 for the next 2 new lady callers. You win yourself $50. I'm going to go to Patty, who has been waiting from Fort Lauderdale, and she is a first-time caller. Good morning,
Good morning.
Patty. Good morning. You won yourself $50, Patty.
Great.
Yeah, and if you stay on the line after we're done talking and share your contact information with Jeremy in our studio, he'll give it to me and I'll get that check out to you.
Beautiful. I try to listen in the morning. I don't always catch the show, but I have been. And I just wanted to say hello and thank you for the information that you all give. I'm having a little car trouble myself. I go to turn the ignition and it doesn't do anything. And then I turn it again and it doesn't do anything. And then I turn it again and then it starts. I just had a new battery put on the car and now I'm thinking it's either the ignition switch or the starter. Just don't know how to go from there. My car does say reset your key. And then I heard just yesterday if you turn the key like 6 times back and forth, maybe that'll reset the key. Just not sure what I should do.
What type of car is this?
This is a 2011 Ford Focus.
Okay.
It has 71,000 miles on it.
The first thing I would double check is make sure the battery terminals are tight.
Yes, they are.
Okay. The next thing I would be checking on this is the ignition switch itself. I don't know about the reset situation because I'm not too familiar with Ford's immobilizer setup, how their chip keys are operating. But if they say cycling the key on and off a bunch of times might reset that, I would give that a try. That's only take you 10 seconds to do. But yeah, the next thing I'd be looking at is make sure the connections are all tight at the ignition switch and possibly the switch itself. However, when you turn the key and it doesn't start, do you hear any sort of a click from under the hood?
Well, I didn't for a while, and then I went to the store and bought a new battery, and the guy says, yeah, it's ticking, which I couldn't hear from the inside of the car. But there again, the battery finally really died. So then I could hear the clicking. So then I put in a new battery, everything's nice and tight, still have the turn ignition problem. And I think maybe I wore the battery down, or it was 3 years and I needed a new one, but...
Yeah, batteries can fail in Florida just about any time, really. And unfortunately, we see a lot of them get what's called a dead cell inside. And when that happens, that battery will just quit. It'll be strong as an ox one day, and the next day it's gone. As a matter of fact, I just had to put a new battery in my truck 2 days ago, and it was only 4 years old. But you know they can go quite easily. I'd be looking at the ignition switch next, and looking to make sure the contacts are all tight, and that it's getting a good voltage signal across that ignition switch.
Okay. So just take it in and let somebody say, I think it's, I think it's the ignition switch, and go from there.
And turning the key on and off, I just Googled that, is the way to reset the ignition switch. I'm looking at it right now, and there's a 8-step procedure, which is it's really interesting. About you turn it off, you turn it on for so long, but you might just Google that reset ignition switch for your Ford 2012 in the model, and you could follow the instructions. You sound like you're pretty savvy mechanically, so if you Google that, you give that a try. There's about 8 steps. You might be able to reset that switch.
Okay, that's good news for me if I can fix it. I'm just to have that naturally, but I don't know everything.
It sounds like you know enough, Patty. I got goosebumps just listening to you. That's fantastic. You just said that when you hang up, you're going to figure this out. You know what? I bet you will.
I have a T-shirt that says, I don't use Google because my wife has all the answers.
You do not.
You know what, Patty, he can't find that shirt anymore. I don't know, somehow, some way, they came into our house, and the only thing that they stole was the shirt.
That's right. It happens. It does happen. Listen, I'm 60-ish, and I never used to Google. Everybody kept saying, Google it, Google it, Google it. And now I've been on the Google for like 2 years.
Good for you.
And that's my favorite saying to them.
Yeah.
Google it.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how much information is on YouTube.
It's endless. It's just
great.
really endless. It's amazing. And sometimes you'll Google something and you feel like as if that, oh, geez, why didn't I think about this before? Google. Use Google.
Yes.
Okay, Patty.
Thank you so much, you guys.
It's your first time caller, right?
You're welcome.
Yes.
Don't forget to stay on the line with Jeremy.
Okay, great.
Have a great weekend. Thank you for calling. $50. I have $50 for one more female caller, new caller this morning at 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget, I mentioned earlier that you can't watch us live on FaceTime this morning. You'll have to go to YouTube, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
So we're going to go to John, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning. First thing I want to start off with is the battery tender you're talking about. Is that also called a trickle charger? Because that's what I know it is. Is it the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I thought it was, all right, very good. And then the second thing is on the shirt, I don't use Google anymore because my wife knows everything, is what it said. And that was the actual shirt that Earl wore. And then my last thing, I love the EVs. I love my Tesla. I drove by, and I've always been interested in the Mustang, the Mach.
Yep.
Mach-E, and that. And I just saw that the dealership has a load of them sitting in the parking lot.
Oh.
Now, over on 10th Avenue and just past the expressway.
Right.
Can you offer me verbiage? I want to go there and get a price on them. They're all, and they're about the same price as the Model Y, but I don't want to pay for a Mustang Mach-E when I get the Model Y for the same price, because the model, the Tesla's, is the industry standard as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So how could I get that Mach-E cheaper and not at the starting price of $48,000? I mean, how could it? How would I pit them against Tesla? And our dealers, would they even be able to do that?
I think you're better off just to shop another dealer. You're right. Tesla is they had their profits were off and the stock went down, and that's because of the fact that they've been really cutting prices so much. They're forcing a lot of other manufacturers, even non-electric vehicle manufacturers, to lower their prices. So Musk has got so much money that he can afford to play with it and control the market. But you wouldn't want to buy a Model Y, a Tesla?
No, I would, but I also I wouldn't mind having a Mach-E, but I don't want to pay this a price for that I could get the Tesla for.
Yeah.
I'd read.
If you want to buy something and use Tesla Y as a competitive thing, that's okay. But you're better off to shop within that family of the same make dealer that you're trying to buy the car from. Dealers are pretty insanely competitive, and if you can get an out-the-door price from dealer A, you can bet that dealer B will beat it, and then dealer C will try to beat it. That's the only way to drive the price down.
Okay. All right. Very good.
You're welcome.
Just stick with the Model Y.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like a good idea. Thanks, John. Have yourself a great weekend. This past week there was a question that a lot of lady callers, they called me and they were asking me what the most important question was when they go out to lease or purchase, purchase a vehicle. And, we talk a lot about how much that vehicle will cost you in maintenance on the road per year, amongst so many other questions that you really need to ask. It's very important. And also these warranties that they try to sell, what don't they cover? That's my favorite question. So keep that in mind. for our male and female callers. 877-960-9960. Text us at 772-497-6530. And speaking of ladies, we have a first-time caller, and her name is Elaine, and she's calling from Royal Palm Beach. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great. Thank you for calling. You just won yourself $50.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
great.
when we're done talking, stay on the line. Talk to Jeremy in the control room. Give him your contact information, and he'll pass that along to me, and I'll get the check out to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
What can we do for you?
So, well, this might sound silly, but I have no idea because it's never happened to me. But I'm thinking, what if it does? I have a Nissan 2014, and it's one of those that you have like a remote to get into the car.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime it shows low battery, I go to the dealer and I get the battery changed. But what happens if I don't go in time? Because I don't have a key. I don't have a key, and the door doesn't have a keyhole. How do I, what if I'm out? I know that sounds really dumb, but
No.
I don't know what to do.
The door doesn't have any sort of a keyhole on the handle?
Nope.
What kind of car is it?
Wow.
It does not.
Could be a Tesla.
It's
Tesla, yeah.
Nissan, she says. So.
Nissan,
it's a Nissan.
Yeah, wow, that's odd because normal, anytime you have a what's known as a smart start car, or just push button start, the key fob has a little
goes
removable
Google.
mechanical key that you can then
Could it
use to unlock the door and get in the car. And then by holding the key fob directly up against the push button, you can step on the brake, push the button. As long as the fob is right up against it, it'll pick up the coil in it, and it will start the car. But for
could
getting
that
into
be
it, that's
hidden?
odd.
But could it be hidden? Because I don't see it on
What
there.
year what year and model is it?
It's either a 2014 or a 2015
Okay,
Altima.
Altima.
Yeah, we're going to Google that and find out where that is, because you definitely should have a mechanical key there that will let you unlock the door. And then if the battery and the key fob fails, 99% of the time you just hold it right up against the push switch, step on the brake and push the button, and it will start the car.
Elaine, was that not offered to you whenever you purchased the vehicle?
I don't recall. I've had it for years.
I think I'm looking at a picture of the door handles. There
Right.
looks like there is a slot. Are you sure there's not in your key fob a slot where a small little valet key is inserted into the key fob?
I don't know. I don't have it with me.
Oh, okay.
We're actually on our way to a ball game.
Yeah.
My
Usually-
grandson's ball.
It's going to be where the key ring is actually on the little fob, where the ring goes onto the fob. Normally,
Right.
that's the mechanical key, and there will be a little tiny switch. Usually, you slide it or you push a switch, and it will release that mechanical key for you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to play with it, but
Yeah.
I'll see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, and check for that valet key that's in the key pod.
Yep.
It's kept right inside there. I know because I took it
Right
apart.
inside there. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. I think you can do it, Elaine.
You can do it. And call back if you have any trouble.
Yeah. And if you need any information, go to Google.
I always go to Google.
That's right.
Elaine, have yourself a great weekend. It was great for you to give us a call. Thanks for supporting
you.
the platform here for the ladies. And it's amazing, as I mentioned earlier, word of mouth is just amazing. And women are a very important part of this auto industry. For any dealer to ignore that is financial disaster. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Have a great
Have a
weekend.
good day. Thank you.
Okay. 877-9696, 877-960-9960. And I think it might be time for me to take a break. And the text number is 772-497-6530. And I'm through over here on the X screen. Guys, do you have anything?
I do. We have, I kind of feel bad because I think we confuse some people with our absence. But I have a text from 2 weeks ago from Anne Marie. This morning she just texted and hopes that we're all well.
Oh, good.
And let us know that we're coming through 5x5 on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
And the radio.
Oh, great.
But she had an interesting question from before, and we're getting around to it now. Good morning. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Dealer showrooms are full of gorgeous, shiny new vehicles. Unfortunately, no automaker can have an entire line of beautiful vehicles every year, in and out. Sometimes a design will show up that makes one wonder, what were they thinking? I chuckled when I read that. What vehicles would you say were so ugly they might be considered cute? And Anne Marie's nomination is the American Motors Gremlin, and I agree with her. And in a similar vein, my nomination would be the Toyota Scion XB, which was just it shocked people. It shocked me when I first saw it. It looks like a cube, and but it was cute. It
was
cute.
What was a Pontiac before they went out of business?
Aztec.
The Aztec.
Yeah, Aztec.
That was their that they jumped the shark with that one.
Yeah, that was about as ugly as you
They
could
had
get.
some redemption because that was a car featured in Breaking Bad about a decade ago, and it brought some renewed attention on it. And I'm like, oh yeah. So I've actually seen one driving around recently, and I bet you they bought it because of Breaking Bad.
Yeah. What a series, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gremlin was one I always thought it was cute. It had so much glass, like this weird.
Well, the
hatchback.
classic was the Edsel.
Yeah, the Edsel. They had some weird stuff on it.
The AMC
Pacer was the one that was like the
Thanks, Jonathan.
equivalent to the Gremlin.
AMC Pacer.
Yeah, that was a dangerous car, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was cute. It was ugly, cute, and very dangerous.
The Volkswagen Thing.
Oh, that's right. The Thing that looked like kind of like a tank material. I remember. Similar
was
to
like-
the Aztec. Yeah.
Yeah, but that really got that.
That crossed the line.
That's a hot car.
Oh yeah.
They sold a lot. Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wasn't
Everybody
it an
wanted
amazing sound system, Stu, on the Scion
Yeah.
when they first came out? I mean,
They
talk
were-
about woofers and tweeters.
Yeah, they woofed it up. They
Wow.
wanted the kids to
It
buy
was
these
it
cars.
was just amazing.
My favorite one that I saw was a fellow had a Scion XB that had been converted for a wheelchair. The back hatch would open, a ramp would come down, and he literally went right in the back of the car with his wheelchair right up to the steering wheel.
Wow.
It was fantastic. I mean, here's this little economical car for that a man in a wheelchair could get around easily around town instead of having one of these massive vans with the big lift and everything.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I
So-
thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
As
amazing.
usual, Anne Marie
You talk about
gets the conversation
personalized.
going. Thank you, Anne Marie.
I think I've upped you with the. You got to start using ChatGPT for some of these questions, because Google was they give you a lot of answers, and ChatGPT kind of narrows it down. I said,
Yeah,
does the
they're-
2015 Nissan Altima have a key slot in the driver's door for a valet key? And it says yes. The 2015 Nissan Altima is equipped with a key slot in the driver's door to accommodate a traditional key, even if the vehicle is a push button start, uses a key fob. So it's all there. Here's another text we have here. I thought it was interesting. I asked ChatGPT to verify. It says the Florida Department of Transportation, FLDOT, has a self-insurance program if you can show that you have $40,000 of net worth. I mean, if you have $40,000, well, that's it right there.
Where did you see that?
It was a text from a texter, no name. I put it in.
Let's Google that.
I GPT'd it. It says Florida does allow self-insurance for motor vehicles under certain conditions. According to the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, to qualify as a self-insurer, an individual must provide evidence of a certain net worth, which might change over time based on inflation or other adjustments. However,
but you can't have the car financed.
I'm waiting. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Can this?
Yeah, because it's not the individual's decision. And when you
It's the
finance a
collateral.
car, the collateral's got to be
By the-
protected, so the bank's going to require insurance. And you can go self-insured. I never knew the Florida DMV had anything to say about it. I mean, why? Well, that's right. I think because they have they have to protect the other driver, so they're going to let you be insured, self-insured for the other driver. PIP, was that PIP insurance, PIP, personal injury protection?
Yeah, PIP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT does agree with
Very
insurance.
good. Okay. Where are we?
I'm looking for more text here. We have somebody. We have Roy. Roy from Denver says, with respect to the lady with the Ford that doesn't start, have her either jiggle the transmission shifter or place the shifter in neutral and try again.
Neutral position switch.
Neutral position
That certainly
switch.
could do it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I with everything I encounter that doesn't work, I've found that turning it off, jiggling it, kicking it. I've got a coffee maker right now. Nancy and I is driving this crazy an espresso maker, and it just when you really got to have that cup of coffee, it gives you error number 73. So I have a whole
routine,
a list of things I do. I pick it up and I drop it. I unplug it, plug it back in. Sometimes I do it. So you just play with things. A lot of times you just play with them. And the computers, you don't know what you're doing to it, but you're waking something up.
It's called percussive maintenance.
Oh, percussive. I like that.
You know,
Yeah. It makes me feel
Kicking.
the
less
best,
stupid.
what really worked is I talked to her. I talk to her in the morning, and I talk to her in the afternoon when she's getting ready to turn off, and I just let her know all the pleasures that she has brought us
appreciated.
in the last 10 years. Some people talk to their plants. Some people talk to Alexa.
We tell Alexa, and to punish Alexa, we unplug her, right?
No, we don't do that.
You could change your name.
I swear at her, and then I unplug her.
You can change your
Constructive
name.
criticism.
You can call her computer. That
Anything,
will work.
Call her anything, yeah.
She'll be she's purring like a kitten.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some more over here. What do we got here?
How do we get the coffee pots?
I'm surprised we haven't had any calls about the strike, the UAW strike, and I asked Jonathan to put a picture up on the screen, and so we'll take this little hiatus here. If he can, if you're streaming us, we're going to put a picture of Sean Fain, who is the president of the United Auto Workers, up, and I'm careful about talking about the strike because the public is about 50-50 split. Some people are rooting for the workers to get a big raise. Some are rooting for the workers to go back to work and forget about the big raise. And you got people on the company side, the manufacturer side. I have this picture of Sean Fain, and he has a T-shirt on that says, "Eat the Rich." So he's sitting here with and it was on the front page of Automotive News. Now, my point is that he is the designated negotiator for the auto workers of the big three, Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. And he has to reach a compromise. You don't get what you want when you negotiate. It's like an ambassador. It's like the Secretary of State of the United States. Even issues in the Middle East we have now. When Israel is talking to the Arab countries and the Palestinian, and it's called diplomacy and negotiation. I submit that the president, Sean Fain of the United Auto Workers, should not wear a T-shirt in public that says "Eat the Rich."
I suggest that's part of his negotiating tactics.
Well, I think what it does is it angers the other side, and I think you remember that a lot of people have to satisfy a lot of other people, and so you try not to anger the other side. I agree. I think it's part of his tactic to get reelected as president of the United Auto Workers.
Oh, okay.
But it's not part of his tactic
I thought it was to intimidate.
to get the best settlement for the workers. I don't think that's going to happen.
I thought he was trying to intimidate them into thinking he might eat them.
Intimidation.
It worked on Ford.
Intimidation
How about agitating?
Intimidation is not in the handbook. It's not in the handbook for negotiators. You don't.
You and me.
Are you guys negotiating now?
We're gonna. Oh, we had heated talk about all this.
And I had another point.
In the Tesla. It's probably
during the
recorded.
hiatus, automotive news. We had a caller earlier that asked Rick a question about a repair. I asked Rick how much it would cost, and he says, well, our labor rate's $150. It'd be about 1 hour, cost you about $150. Now, the automotive news, which is our trade journal, I say our as a car dealer, automotive news is something that all car dealers read. It's something that all manufacturers read. It's international, and it's kind of like the Bible, for this business, manufacturing and retailing automobiles. So they have an instructive page in there. It's service and parts. It's in there every week, and it's tips to automobile dealers about how they should treat customers. So I have here a tip from Automotive News from a man named Stack, and the headline is, there are trust issues if customer asks for labor rate. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically they say, if you train your customers and you train your service advisors in your service department properly, you never have to let them know what your labor rate is. and if you do a really good job, they won't even ask you what the labor rate is.
If you do an
Now,
entertaining enough shuffle dance,
Yeah.
you can get
Yeah,
around that.
So it's called the smoke and mirrors. Now, for the trade journal.
They call it that?
Huh?
They're calling it that?
I'm calling it.
Okay, geez.
I'm calling that. He says here, this means that helping the customer realize going anywhere but the dealership would be a mistake.
Bad idea.
And of course, this show,
Anything
I'm
could happen.
patting ourselves on our backs here. I'm saying this show tells you should know what it costs, you should know the labor rate, and you should probably check prices with independent mechanics. You should not necessarily just listen to the song and dance from the service advisor at the car dealership. But the thing that angers me is when the automotive news comes up with something like that, it's just not the right thing to do. It's just,
No.
Stay away from that.
Well,
Let
all
the
of
car
that.
dealers fight it out.
Yeah, I unsubscribed from NADA and all that. I'm bored by it.
Your thoughts, Rick?
You wouldn't want to hear them.
We all want to hear your thoughts. I got a quick question for somebody. I want to know about your degrees. I know that your degree at UF was in physics, but at Purdue it was industrial.
Yeah, it was a Master of Science in Industrial Administration. It was basically a business course for engineers, scientists. So if you're a graduate scientist, I was a physicist. If you're a graduate engineer, I could be an electrical engineer. Anyone with an engineering or science degree can go to Purdue and get a degree in using your technical skills towards a master's degree in business.
Okay, so it was industrial administration.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
There you go. I answered the question.
But it's not a Master of Science, not a Master of
Yes, MS.
Arts.
Yeah.
Not an MA, an MS.
MS, exactly. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is from this morning. I thought I was catching up here from the last couple of weeks. Rick, this is probably up your alley. It says, I have a 1998 Isuzu Trooper that I love. The alarm started going off intermittently, especially at night. The door locks work part-time. I put batteries in the remote and manually tested all the locks, hood, and rear door switches. I've been Googling the problem, and all I can get is how to disable it, which I don't want to do. I purchased an alarm sensor and relay, but they haven't installed it yet. Could this be the solution to fix it?
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying whether it was installed as an aftermarket device or a factory unit.
Right.
If it was installed aftermarket, quite often what they do, they'll use what's called a T-tap to connect to the wires. I would go back to each of those and double check, make sure they're getting a good connection, because they basically, it's a little plastic piece that wraps around the wire, has a little metal tab inside that will slice through the insulation and connect with the wire inside.
Oh.
But if it doesn't get a good connection, then you're going to get weird operation.
Yeah. So maybe somebody already tried to do that and it wasn't done well?
Possible.
Right.
Very likely.
I hope that helps. And I think we're not caught up. Ice cream at the dairy. Oh, okay. Ice cream at the dairy school was 5 cents a scoop. That came from the texture. Want to know your address? Did they have an ice cream at the dairy school at Purdue?
Say that again.
Was there a place called the Dairy Scoop at Purdue in the town? Ice cream place that you knew about?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, who is this?
Do I have a name on the
Dairy Queen, yeah.
Yeah, there was. Okay, so it was 5 cents a scoop. I don't have a name on the texter. That's Jay. I'm sorry. This
One
is
of my
from
favorite
Jay and
places. Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen,
Love
yeah.
Dairy Queen, yeah.
We grew up on that one. Dairy Queen with the curl on top.
Okay. Oh, by the way, it is a factory unit on the Trooper with the alarm. So
the next thing I'd be checking are the ground wires.
There you have it.
You'd be amazed at how often just one loose bolt holding that ground wire can cause
affect
all
everything.
kinds of nightmare issues.
Sounds today the ground wire has played a prominent role. All right, I'm all caught up. You got anything going over there on YouTube?
Yeah, well, I think let me just clear something up that I oversimplified earlier, is that the labor rate, and I said you should ask the labor rate, and you should. The thing to remember, the labor rates that car dealers have are not the clock hour. I mean, why do they call it an hour? That's a good question. It's called the flat rate hour, and it comes from a handbook that you get from. You can buy You could buy a handbook that have higher of hours than the manufacturer's handbook would have on labor rates, and. The point is, it is a good job to shop and compare not just the labor rate, but the actual cost of repair. The point is that a skilled mechanic like Rick, and I don't mean to insult you by calling you a mechanic, you're
I've been called worse.
Yeah, I know you have. I've called you worse. I'm only kidding.
Earlier today, in fact.
You called him a grease monkey once.
But if you're skilled like Rick, the flat rate, the allocated hour for repair, Rick might be able to do it in a half an hour or 45 minutes. In fact, a good technician would typically be able to do it in less than the hour, flat rate hour. So it's misleading. And so in that sense, it's really not a good idea to get into the hours, but into the ultimate cost of the repair. Get your estimate in terms of total cost.
And one other thing just to note is that a lot of common jobs, things like that, mainly maintenance, but some repair that are common. It's job price, so it's lower than the actual rate because they're competitive things. So it's usually you run into like a repair where you're coming up against the dealers.
If you don't understand all that, here's what happens: you bring your car in. And maybe you find out that they're going to charge you 2 hours, and their hourly rate is $150, so it's going to cost $300. So you give them the car, they drive in the shop, you go in, you get a cup of coffee, and you come back out, and your car's finished. Well, it wasn't in there for 2 hours, and they're charging you for 2 hours, so now they think you're a bunch of crooks. Well, you might be a bunch of crooks, but it wasn't because it was out in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Price, the job price.
As long as they're quoting you an accurate estimate at the beginning, then the hourly rate is an internal function. It's not a published thing that you come in and go, hey, how much is your massage? Oh, it's $100 for an hour.
I mean, on the other side of the coin, you could get a really stupid mechanic that had no idea what he was doing, and the flat rate hours could be 2 hours. It could take him all day to fix it because he doesn't know what he's doing, but you still only get charged the 2 hours. So that's far more than you probably want to know, but I had to tell you.
It's confusing, but it is definitely, it's more of an internal thing. I would like to use it, I'm saying any other professional that charges by the hour, they advertise that and you can calculate it that way. The service department, they don't say, oh, we advertise X number of dollars an hour. They say how much is that repair, and they're going to say it's $300.
It'd be nice if the doctor charged you a certain amount to cure you.
Right.
Say, oh, you got, heart problem.
You could back into that.
I'll charge you $1,000 and I'll cure you. If I don't cure you,
It doesn't sound right when they say
it doesn't sound
It
right.
makes you feel like a car.
What's really great right now is that you can find yourself. At least we have, and I'm sitting across from him, and that's a computer scientist. And boy, I'll tell you what, Earl wrote a column, and it was called "A Good Mechanic is Worth Searching For." And Rick's talents are just incredible. How many mechanics do you know that have, what is it, Jonathan? It's YouTube that Rick is engulfed in, and you can go there and you can watch all these videos, and it's just amazing, the knowledge that you can learn, and you can see just how passionate this computer scientist, AKA, I hate to even use it, mechanic is. So anyway, go to Earl on Cars and take a look at the column that he wrote. It was a good while ago, but a good auto mechanic is worth searching for, and it is indeed. Okay. Rick. Rick's got some.
We got some, here. Tom Steckel's asking, did the hospital offer Nancy an extended service plan?
That's a great question.
Would you like to protect your investment?
Yeah, I mean, see, here's our medical system has a huge amount to learn, period. But they could learn from commercial endeavors, and they should be competitive. And I'm not going to get political here, but I was so happy to hear our president say that for Medicare, they're going to go out and get bids from 11 pharmaceutical companies before they price medication for seniors in Medicare. I mean, why the hell didn't we do that 20 years ago? Right now, it's highway robbery. So the medical system is really just bogged down in stupidity.
I think there was an actual law that prevented them from doing that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
It was the pharmaceutical lobbyists that got that passed.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, 11, you talk about some good prices. You got 11 people bidding on a drug, bada bing.
It's coming way down, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that, Rick, do you have a quick YouTube for us?
Yeah, I got one interesting one. Steve Magg says, I've been reading about GM, Ford, Toyota, and Volkswagen cutting back on electric vehicle production due to soft sales. What is your forecast for EV sales during the next 5 years or so?
Well, they're cutting back because Tesla is dominating the market, and they're cutting back because Tesla's ahead of them on production techniques, technology, acceptance. I mean, there's a huge positive feeling about Teslas. So they just encountered a monster. And that's the reason they're not selling the cars. I was shocked. There was one of the major manufacturers, Lucid. Yeah, Lucid. Listen to this. This will shock us, you Stu, and Rick and Nancy and Jonathan. In the last quarter, in the last 3 months, Lucid, national manufacturer of vehicles, worldwide Lucid, sold 1,457 cars.
Wow.
I mean, we almost sold that many cars in the last quarter in one dealership.
Yeah.
And
we did actually.
And to think that, so that's what's going on right now. There's going to be a bloodbath out there. Lucid's going down; they're going to go broke, and Ford, either Ford or General Motors or Stellantis or somebody, they're not going to make it. But they're not selling cars not because there's anything wrong with electric vehicles, but because Tesla's eating their lunch.
There's got to be a real alternative to that.
Yeah.
Speaking on the same thing, how does Jeep? They're losing quite a bit of money, aren't they?
Apparently they are, and I'm shocked. I thought they were making a ton of money, but Stellantis is losing a lot of money, and Jeep is supposed to be. I thought Jeep was their most profitable division, but I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't have the percentages in front of me right now, but I was reading about a particular article on Jeep and how they were losing money.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jeep, we are going to go to the mystery shopper report before Jonathan comes over here and does something crazy, and he's in charge of keeping us in line. At any rate,
keeps us moving along.
We are going to go out to McKees Rocks, just outside of Pittsburgh, and Agent Lightning did another fabulous job, as she always does. And we went to correct me, guys, if this is incorrect. Deal, Jeep, Dodge,
Yeah,
Chrysler, Ram.
It's a good name for a dealer.
There, did you take a look at who is the president of the company?
Is it Bob Deal?
Well, I guess she is.
Oh, she's.
Yeah, she's Karina.
Oh, I didn't
Karina
look
Dell,
at
and it looks like her brother is the vice president.
Ah.
Yeah, nice.
The Deal siblings, the Deal kids.
My sympathies go out to her.
Just
She's
keep
got a
on
big
going.
job.
You want me to do the mystery shopping report?
Well, I guess so.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Car Dealer, hit it.
While watching the Sunday night Steelers game, I'm speaking as if I were Agent Lightning and I was in Pittsburgh. While watching the Sunday night Steelers game, a local commercial caught my attention, especially being the enthusiastic Jeep girl I am. Now, I'll do a little editorial thing here. I'm not sure that was a local commercial. We'll talk about it. I don't think it was. But it was certainly, she did see it, and it was during this, the Steeler game in Pittsburgh. So it seemed like a local commercial, maybe. It was for Deal, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and it promised 10% off MSRP on a new Jeep Wrangler 4XES. That's EV Jeep Wranglers, electric vehicle Jeep Wranglers. Now, that's a huge discount today in today's market off MSRP. I decided to check out Deal, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, R, whatever that is.
Ram.
Ram, yeah.
Yeah, like it'd be like if it would be like if Toyota named their thing. It's Camry, Corolla, 4Runner, RAV4, Highlander.
Yeah. I mean, talking about marketing and confusing names, I know I'm digressing here, but here's a company called Stellantis that nobody knows who they are. Well, they are. I'll tell you who they are. They're Chrysler Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and what's a Chrysler? When's the last time you saw a Chrysler?
I saw a used one the other day.
I didn't.
Yeah.
At any rate, this dealership is on the other side of Pittsburgh, just outside the suburbs. I arrived early in the afternoon. A lineup of EV Jeeps greeted me at the front of the dealership. Spotting the, I love this, Earl Grey EV Jeep Wrangler Sport 4XE, a model I'm quite familiar with. Where do they get these names? Earl Grey.
That's a lovely, it's a tea. It's a really nice tea.
I was drawn to it as I entered. A salesman greeted me. Hello, my name is JJ. We have a great grandson named JJ. How can I assist you today? JJ said with a smile. I saw a commercial during the Steelers game last night. Is this Jeep electric vehicle available? I asked. Yes, it's available. Would you like to take a look at it today? He responded enthusiastically. I nodded, then added, I also saw a promotion during the game. Do you know if that offer is available here? Now, this is one of the reasons I suspect it was not a local ad, because he said, yes, we do. Are you interested in leasing? We can provide the tax information up front off the MSRP if you do. Well, that's not the reason I think it was not. It's because they had to go check when they found out I had a copy of the ad. I said, I'm more inclined to buy than lease. We made our way to the Wrangler. As we approached, JJ said, you seem to know a lot about Jeeps. Do you even need a test drive? I chuckled. It wouldn't hurt. The MSRP of the 2024 Jeep Sport EV was $55,670. The Monroney label was affixed, which is refreshing. We've had a series of events where they were not affixed appropriately to the rear window, and there was no addendum to be found. So far, things are looking great. After a short drive, JJ, with a hint of hope in his voice, asked, so are you thinking of buying or leasing? He just asked me that. Buying, I responded firmly. He nodded again. Back inside at his desk, JJ requested, could I have your license, phone number, and email? I reached into my bag, did everything, and handed it over. I also showed him a picture I'd taken of their ad on my TV, the one with the 10% off MSRP. Now, I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's not easy to take a picture of an ad on TV. I mean, you got to be fast on the trigger, and because they flash the fine print on in a heartbeat, and I'm an expert at that because I love to take them.
You've taken a lot of them.
I have taken a lot of them.
Reflexes like a cat.
But Nancy will hear a crash in the kitchen. What are you doing? Well, I was trying to get a picture of the TV screen. I tripped over the stool. So that's. After providing the information, JJ briefly excused himself. On his return, he said, "Sorry to bother you, but I need to show your phone with the ad details to the sales manager." Now that's the reason I thought that it wasn't their ad, because
the guy probably said, "What is she talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. I suggested he take a pic with his phone instead. Take a pic of my pic is what she said.
I would have said, "I'll text it to you."
I didn't want to give him my phone, so he took a picture of mine. He left about 8 minutes later. JJ returned, his expression a bit crestfallen. Uh-oh. "I've got some disappointing news," JJ said. "The promotion is only for the 2023 models. Sadly, we don't have any in stock, and we haven't for the last couple of months."
The 2023s.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah, we're all out of 2023s.
All out of 2023s. And it is 2023, right?
It is.
I thought so, yeah.
We got all nothing but 2024s now, though.
"However, my manager has an offer for you at invoice price." Whoa,
yeah, right.
The infamous invoice. He slid a paper across the desk for me to review. He said it was the original factory invoice for this vehicle. It showed an original invoice of $55,633 onto the worksheet, the proverbial worksheet. Top line labeled market value selling price was MSRP of $56,670. They showed a discount of $1,033, making the adjusted price $55,633. What JJ said was invoice. Then they added $9.99 for the famous Zurich shield. Zurich, that's a good name because Zurich, Switzerland, reliable, honest.
Sounds like banking.
Neutral, yeah.
Neutral banking.
Yeah.
Secret bank accounts.
And a $4.99 duck fee. These are junk fees, of course. Wiping out the discount and putting a price a few $100s over MSRP. Upon checking the fees, I pointed out I'm not sure about the Zurich shield. JJ quickly countered, handing me a sheet. There are a lot of benefits. It protects against damages like bird droppings, scratches, and more. Taking a deep breath, I replied, "Thank you for your time, JJ. I had a feeling this might be too good to be true. I might wait for the right deal." "I understand," JJ responded, looking slightly disappointed. "If you need anything, here's my personal number." Well, it's one of the nicest things he could have said. I mean, that's good. Give his personal cell phone number. I'll give it on the air, 412-275-3814.
Call JJ for a good deal.
Right. Anyway, I want to hold up this picture of the ad, and you won't be able to see any better than I could see on the television, but that's the picture of the advertisement. You see the fine print? Of course you don't see the fine print.
It looks like it's part of the road.
You can't see the fine. Yeah, it looks like part of the road. And I couldn't see the fine print with my magnifying glass, so I sent it to Jonathan here in the studio, and I sent it to Rick, and I sent it to Nancy, and I sent it to Stu. And Jonathan apparently has got this incredible ability, and none of us could read it, but Jonathan did. And he had to print it out twice, and he probably had a secret way, but he did read it. And this is the fine print exposed there. You'll never see that again. Now, in the fine print, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but basically, this is a line I love. "This incentive is offered by a third party." It could be anybody. A third party could be Rick. Somebody. This ad.
What are you doing, man?
This incentive is offered by a third party, anonymous third party, and is subject to change without notice. So
that is my favorite.
So as soon as that ad flashed on the screen, a microsecond later, they could change the ad and they could change the price.
I would love to see that put into action. Could you imagine doing a mystery shop? They go, well, yes, that was the ad, but if you see right here, it can change at any time.
Yeah.
It just changed.
And it goes on with the qualifications for electric vehicle rebates, your income. If you're a single filer, you have to have $150,000. A total joke. So who I'm beating up now is not the dealer, Deal Chrysler Jeep Dodge, or whatever it is, in Pittsburgh. I'm beating up Stellantis because I think that's a national ad. And that is if there's a lawyer out there that won't go after Stellantis, that's a big fat target. I mean, one of the big three automakers saying in the fine print that don't believe anything in this ad because the third party did the ad, and I can change it immediately. I can change the price immediately.
On this one screen that we have, it said the only identifying thing, it says Jeep.com. There's no mention of the dealership, and usually a dealership ad will keep their name and website on as long as possible because you got 30 seconds to get people to look at it.
Yeah, this looks like a factory ad. I mean, from the look of the picture there.
Yeah.
That's.
You can still get that stuff.
Yeah. So anyway.
Jeep Adventure Days. Maybe that's what it is. I'll look that up. Keep talking.
So we've got here on trial not just Deal Jeep. I'll just call it Deal Jeep, and I'll just call it Pittsburgh. This is just the Jeep dealer. It's the Jeep manufacturer, Stellantis. Or maybe a regional advertising groups too. That could be
right, like they're.
It could be
they're called a TDA.
But whoever did this ad, they ought to hang them. I mean, this is just absolutely. I've seen disclaimers and ads. I've seen a typical disclaimer is that this price is only good through the end of the month, or they'll give you a date. That's bad enough.
This is a national ad. I found it. It's called Jeep Adventure Days.
Yeah.
And the incentives include things like 15% off MSRP, lease offers, 10% off MSRP. So that's what she saw.
So anyway, remember when you vote on this on Deal Jeep in Pittsburgh, when you vote on this mystery shopping report, don't hold them responsible for the manufacturer of Jeep. Manufacturer of the Jeep or the regional advertising group or whoever ran this ad. The TV station ought to be on trial for this. I mean, you just can't say anything you want in the fine print and have it legally valid.
Yeah, why doesn't the FTC and the state's attorney generals go after the broadcasters that run these things?
Exactly. So, Jonathan, thank you. You're the only one.
Well.
That knew what that said. You think I'm joking? Other than the anonymous third party who wrote it.
I do want to
There was just Jonathan and the anonymous third party, and thanks to Jonathan, we all know. Oh, that's
amazing.
You just do that.
Oh yeah.
You blow it up.
Yeah.
Well, I hope I have some grades that came in, and I hope that was they considered what we said, that it wasn't. Right now we have for Jonathan in Palm Coast. He used to live in Wellington. This dealership gets an F from me for playing games. Okay, well, it says, why take out ads on non-existent cars? Jonathan, if you could just reconsider, because we think we just determined the ad was a National Jeep ad. So shame on Stellantis and Jeep and all that. Bob gives him an F2 for false advertising. I think we got to reconsider. I would probably agree with them, but it's.
But they're not advertising this. It's not.
Yeah, no, they're not. I would say he
had no. My guess is the dealer had no choice. He had no say in whether this ad.
Well, he didn't run the ad. It was on TV, and she saw, and he's probably fending off a few people that made a similar conclusion.
We get upset at Toyota. We have a Toyota dealership. We get upset at Toyota when they run a leasing ad with the down payment in the fine print.
Yeah, it's just a. It does everything that we're saying that you can't do. You can't change the offer. Oh. Okay, so Jonathan is not reconsidering. They're complicit in the trickery. That is your right. So we still have an F, and then we have a D coming in. I'm going to give him a C. And I was thinking about the C because we grade on the curve, but even up in up in Pennsylvania, we've had a mixture of good
Yeah, we
dealers
have,
and
yeah.
bad dealers. Better than down here, but I still got to give them a C. I'm not really curving it, guys, so nobody get mad at me.
Yeah.
It's they didn't do anything that bad.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I've got Joded with an F. Joseph Kelleher, F. Deception at its worst.
I feel bad for Deal.
Johnny Z. Fradley, not a great deal at Deal Automotive, C minus.
That's fair. That's good. That's good. That's why I said it's a great name for a dealer.
Your best deal is a deal.
Right. If your name's Bob or whatever, Earl Deal, you're a dealer. That's a great. That's
Rocky Blockatiel, D is for Devious. Mark Smith, definitely not the best deal out there, C minus. Tom Steckel, D, deceptive. Ram is a verb, not a noun. Brian Sedlatko, shame on the corporate Jeep for this commercial, D. Tim Gilliland, F, and that is not subject to change. Guy Larrabee, a big fat F. Myself, I'm going to go middle of the road on this. I'm going C.
A what?
A C.
See? Okay. I got another ad for him. Nobody can steal like a deal.
Oh. I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
Okay.
Your score?
You go first.
Oh, you go first. Ladies and gentlemen, misleading, so misleading and deceptive. I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's not necessary. Here you are, you get your hopes up, you want to go in and you want to, you see this advertisement, $6,903 under MSRP.
That's
Are you
awesome.
excited? I'm excited.
I was.
It just isn't necessary. And I'm not sure, and I don't care why it happened, but for Deal, I give them an F.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have some mercy on them because, like our experience as a dealer with Toyota, and all the manufacturers violate the Federal Trade Commission rule against modifying the value, the price in the fine print. They all do it, and so I think in this case here, I'm gonna give them a C minus. I think.
Yeah, they did have Zurich. I forgot about the Zurich.
Yeah. So give them a C minus, and
there we go.
Yeah. Okay. You want to take a look at Earl's column this week, and Earl, you yourself have that. I gave you mine, and that's on cracking down on junk fees to lower cost consumers. It is a great read. I'm sure we're all just disgusted with junk fees. You want to call them junk fees, fine. Dealer fee, there you go. So you want to take a look at that. You can, if you didn't pick up the Florida Weekly, you can pick up the Hometown News, and you can find the article right there. Or go to Earl on Cars, and you can find that article also. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to an end of another show. We do appreciate your company. You definitely make the show. And we will be right back here next week at 8 a.m. Have a happy Halloween. And I get my stitches out next week. I'm very excited. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.